Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. So I'm Marta. I'm the head of admissions at Polkadot Blockchain Academy, and I'm joined by my colleague, Nikos, who is the tech lead. And he is the person responsible for creating the curriculum for our in-person academy. And he is also the person to ask any technical questions because I am not technical at all, although I am learning. We thought Polkadot Blockchain Academy has been around for a couple of years now, but we thought that we would just let you know a little bit about us and introduce it to the people who are participating in your hackathon. So what is the Polkadot Blockchain Academy? It is a unique educational program that ensures you have all the right grounding to become a brilliant blockchain, crypto and Web3 engineer. That is a quote by Dr. Gavin Wood, who is our founder. Gavin Wood was one of the co-founders of Ethereum. He went on to a new project called Polkadot, and one of the things that as part of his work to make Polkadot the premier blockchain out there, another thing that he wanted to do is just to ensure that enough brilliant blockchain engineers are being trained so that they are there and available to work on this new technology. So we were founded in 2022 by Gavin Wood, and the idea of this was to not only train engineers in how to work in blockchain, but also why it's important and why we're doing these things. So it isn't just the hands-on aspects of blockchain technology that the course covers. It is also the conceptual underpinnings, the theory and the fundamentals of blockchain technology, cryptography, economics and game theory that we cover. And we then follow on with the more with the hands-on things, the hands-on topics using Polkadot and Substrate, sorry, as the foundations. Very importantly, the lecturers, the teachers, the teaching assistants of who work on the faculty of Polkadot Blockchain Academy are the actual engineers. They are the builders. They are the people who have been building this technology. We have been incredibly lucky so far that for all of the 5 cohorts that we've put on so far, Dr. Gavin Wood has been on our faculty and he's joined us and he's taught the students. But we also are very lucky to have other faculty on staff who are also the very builders. And in the past we've had Robert Habermeyer, Kian Paimani, Sean Tabrizi, and they have come in and really taught the students, not simply lecturing, but really being there and being able to explain how they built this technology, which is really special. These that they are the actual engineers who created this stuff. So it's a very, very incredible program really to be a part of. So far, yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Hi, Matt. Yeah, I just wanted to add on top of that the people you mentioned, Kian, Sean, Dr. Gavin Wood, and Rob are also the people who are providing us the future curriculum, like help us day to day to understand what is coming up, and we are updating our next for our next cohort the curriculum based on the upcoming new things that are coming to the upcoming things that are coming into Polkadot. So we're not just stuck into something that was built 2 or 3 years ago. We're updating the curriculum daily, cohortly, if I may say, and we try to keep up to date to the latest news of Polkadot and its foundings.
Yeah, that's a really really important point. Thank you, Nikos. You're so right. This isn't it is an academic course, that's absolutely right, but it also is fundamentally a course that is live. You know, it teaches us about this technology that is changing so quickly, and because the people who are teaching it are actually also the people who are building it, our curriculum can stay incredibly current to where the technology is going. And I think we've already had, I think that each cohort has had a different iteration, I think, of the curriculum, because, you know, every time something new is happening within Polkadot every single time. So far we've educated over 400 developers in 5 cohorts and 5 countries all over the world. We started off in Cambridge, and actually that's a really interesting point, Nikos, that you make, because the curriculum in Cambridge is probably not completely different to that which we had in Singapore, which was our most recent one, but certainly there were new elements such as jam and so on. So
yeah, why I added what I, sorry for interrupting, why I added what I added before is that we started building the curriculum back then with the help of Gavin, of Sean, of Kian. We kept the basics, we kept the fundamentals, we are keeping them still, but we are adjusting based on the future comes. So we have extra presentations about jam, like in the latest cohort in Singapore, we had Dr. Gavin Wood touring through the jam gray paper. So we're updating the curriculum based on the upcoming. That's what I was trying to make as a point.
Yeah, absolutely. So the curriculum will always be the most current, and not even things that are happening right now. It's things that the direction that we are traveling in as well, which makes this course really unique. So whilst it is academic, it is also very, very current. I feel in our 2 years, just over 2 years that we've been around, we've had 5 cohorts, 400 developers, but we haven't rested on our laurels, I don't think. I think we are continually improving. And what was the academy initially envisaged? It was a 5-week in-person, truly academic program, consisting of daily lectures, practical assignments, co-working opportunities, deep dives into the technology and community events, guest lecturers. Again, these are people who are perhaps founders of some projects on Polkadot. They are the people who are building this technology. So it's very exciting. We have social events, we have networking opportunities, and it is a really unique program. It really gels the students together. The in-person element, I don't think, can be really replicated. It is a special part of it, and that is very much something that we are making sure will continue on, so that students can get together and really immerse themselves in the learning about this technology. So the way that the course has been split was in 2 parts. Firstly, there was classroom based. It is classroom based with instruction from from the amazing faculty, and there is also a chance to do co-working where you get to practice those things, those elements that you were taught about, and that is working on projects. Sometimes these are assignments set specifically to kind of continue to teach, and sometimes they are live assignments as well. There's games, it's actually really very fun to come to these to the academies. I think that people find it very rewarding, the students, but there's a real sense of comradeship as well, and in the past, our curriculum started with the fundamental cryptographic and governance principles of blockchain technology before diving more deeply into the Polkadot's architecture and associated technologies and practical implementations. And again, I was looking at this presentation, which was from a year ago, and already the curriculum had been different because it's constantly evolving. We've at the Singapore cohort, we went through cryptography, economics and game theory, blockchain governance, smart contracts, Polkadot SDK, and then Polkadot. But we are constantly evolving, as Nikos said. And so for where are we going in the future? And in 2025, we will be really bringing the next evolution of the Polkadot Blockchain Academy to the world. So we have two different things which we are developing at the moment. PBAX, which will be the online version of the academy. We realized that whilst the academy is an incredible program, it is quite I think difficult, or it can be difficult for some students to come. 5 weeks in person is is not possible. So for a lot of people, plus it isn't so easy to scale to bring it to more people. So one of the things that we're looking at is to bring really the academy to as many developers as we can, and we're doing that by making it more accessible. So we are splitting the course into almost 2 elements. The first will be a fully online course composed of the 7 introductory modules covering the fundamentals of blockchain technology. And this will be intended both as a primer for the in-person part of the course, which will still very much continue to take place, but it can also be completed as a standalone introductory course, so that for engineers who perhaps are not looking to deep dive further into the technology. So it will cover all the theory modules, as well as the introductory sessions of all of the modules that we teach as part of the in-person course.
If I may jump in and give you a breather for a second.
Yeah, of course, thanks, Nikos.
Yeah, you're welcome. So the idea of the curriculum so far, what we were doing up to the Singapore last cohort, is that we wanted to cover, and it's actually the idea of that Dr. Gavin Wood had from the beginning, is not to cover Polkadot things, but start from the fundamentals, start from zero, teach people all the basics, and grow up to get to the Polkadot modules. So far, the bubbles, the pink bubbles you see at the bottom, is the curriculum we had, meaning we start the students in PBA, in the in-person lectures with the cryptography and economics, which are the basic fundamentals for blockchain. Then jumping into a generic blockchain module, talking about everything around blockchain, what it is, how a block is created, what it contains, etc. Then a generic governance module talking about everything around governance, because it is one of the most important parts of a blockchain, how to manage the system through governance. Talking about smart contracts a little bit, and then jumping into Polkadot specific in the last 1.5 to 2 weeks of the program. The idea of PBAX now is that many of these things that I just mentioned are not changing. There are theoretical parts that are the same. So what we decided to do with the team of PBA is we will gather all the not so often changing parts and the theoretical parts into an online course, bringing them to more people, more students. So not just the 100 people that were coming per cohort, but we could potentially reach thousands of people that want to follow this course and and understand all the basics. And these basics will be also the introductory lectures for that we used to do in PBA. So we have the experience on that. After that, this will allow us to, first of all, reduce the time in person, making the in-person from 5 weeks to let's say 3 weeks, could be more or less around that, but also reduce the classroom time, meaning less teaching to the students, teaching them more deep dives into these 7 modules, and then give them more time for hands-on and help them build with these theoretics that they receive through PBAX. So the idea is, first of all, to reach many people, as Marta said, and also to allow people to understand these theoretics in their own time, in their at their home, before reaching the in-person academy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just our way of trying to make it as accessible as possible for people to attend, splitting the content into half which is delivered online. Of course, we'll make sure we'll enable more people to be able to do that. And then by only having the in-person element shorter to approximately 3 weeks, will mean that we're able to, that we're opening this out to more people who perhaps would not have been able to make it otherwise when it was a full 5-week program. But it will still retain those elements of an in-person course where students come and get together. They will be immersed in the learning, and that was very much the ethos of the academy, is that students come along and the learning is the most important part, learning together, really immersing themselves in the curriculum, in the content, and living blockchain for 5 weeks, but soon to be 2.5 or 3 weeks. And as we mentioned already before, this technology is changing. It's changing constantly. It's a new technology, but it's moving very, very quickly. And we are very, very aware of that fact, that our curriculum needs to stay very current, which is why it's so important that our faculty are actually the builders of this technology, rather than professional lecturers or somebody like that. So as part of that, we are also looking to develop the curriculum so that we are bringing new content, and in the next the 6th edition of the in-person part of the program, we will also be bringing in a DApps track, which I will ask Nikos to talk about a little bit more.
Thank you, Marta. First of all, I want to say that introducing PBAX would allow us in the 6th version of our in-person cohort to still keep the modules that we mentioned before, meaning the cryptography, economics, blockchain, governance, smart contracts, and intro to Polkadot. But this will allow us in person to resolve more questions and deep dive deeper. So the in theory remains in PBAX, as mentioned before, and in the in person, with much less time consumed, we will be able to deep dive more into these 6 modules. PBAX also allow us to evolve in the apologies, in the in-person cohorts. Apologies. This means that in the 6th version of PBA in person, we're bringing a new track. We decided that we understand that we need more applications in the ecosystem of Polkadot. So we're introducing this DApps off-chain track, which will it's being built. The curriculum is being built as we speak. It's about how someone can build, what tools to use to build a decentralized application of the chain, meaning the code, the part of a decentralized application that doesn't live on the chain. And through these lectures, or through this module, through this track, I want to say it better, we're going to introduce not only the architecture that it should have, but also every other tooling that exists in the ecosystem can pass as a standard. And most of the very successful applications right now in Polkadot are using this tooling. At the same time, we're retaining the protocol on-chain track. We used to call it a dev track. Now we're renaming it, rebranding it as protocol on-chain track. Remains the Polkadot SDK, meaning substrate, frame, XCM, all these beautiful framework that have been built in the past. And we continue with that in order to be able to build Polkadot on-chain. All your code that you write during that module will be on-chain in Polkadot or any parachain. Also smart contracts, and of course we will extend the deep dive to Polkadot specifics like sharding, like jam, all these things that are evolving day by day from the core developers.
Thank you, Nikos. That's really great. And I think that this will really now mean that we've got developers who'll be able to come in and the core developers, but also people who are looking to build things on top of Polkadot. So I think it's a really, really exciting evolution of the Academy. And I think that between all these three things, PBAX, the dApps track and the dApps off-chain track and protocol on-chain track, we are really, again, I think, you know, at the forefront of blockchain education. And
And the great thing about this new track as well is, like, in protocol on-chain track, we have all the core devs who build the framework to come and give the lectures and teach the students and help them with hands-on. But also with the dApps track, and this is something that I think is the first time we mentioned, we're gonna bring the people who build the toolings. For example, the Polkadot API team, people from ZombieNet, people from Chopsticks will come to help us lecture the students for this new track. So it's not going to be somebody who just use the tools, it's going to be the people who build these tools.
Yeah, and I think that we are very lucky to have these experts come in and teach us, and it just means that for the students, you know, you can really understand not just how this technology works, but why it was built in a particular way, why there were the decisions that were made to do this. And I think that's super powerful when you're learning. It really gives you a much deeper understanding of the technology. Not just to know how it works, you know, and to say, right, this is it, but to really understand the decisions, the journeys that were taken, perhaps the kind of the routes that and you know, everything that went into building this technology, rather than here it is, that's how it works. So I think that this, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry about
No,
that,
no,
Marta.
fine.
The idea is not to teach the students how to write Rust or how to write TypeScript or how to write Solidity. The idea is that the students know how to use these languages, at least the basics, and we're teaching them what are the best practices, why specific decisions were made, how a tool was built, what is the process of building a successful tool, and why you should build it this way, not that way, etc., etc. We will be looking also why evolvement of tools. For example, why we're bringing jam in the game instead. Like, we're not replacing exactly, but we're evolving Polkadot SDK into this new jam, or why we're evolving Polkadot JS API to the new Polkadot API. What is the reasoning behind this? So that this way the students will be able to understand also the decisions of Polkadot. And this is a title of one of the lectures, Decisions of Polkadot. Nice
okay, that's amazing. Yeah, I do think that it is such an exciting program to attend if you are an engineer. You know, this is really an opportunity to ask those questions and to really get into how things work and why they work in the way they do. So super exciting. And I think it means that now we are giving the engineers who are attending the course an opportunity also to go in a slightly different direction, to not have the not just have the protocol track, but also the dApps track. So for those wanting to build on the technology, they'll be able to know how to do that too. And so for this edition of the new for the new format of the course, we'll be traveling to Europe, most likely. The slimmed down curriculum will allow us to deliver the content in approximately 3 weeks, which means that we're able to train more developers and opening it up to more people. Maybe even we'll be able to do more cohorts per year if it is a shorter time span. So watch this space. As we have said the whole call, we are constantly evolving and making sure that what we are teaching really is what you all need. So the content it's going to make our life a little bit more difficult, I think, because we're not sitting and just you know, we haven't written the curriculum and that's it. We do change every single time, but it's super exciting, and I think it's very, very rewarding to see our graduates take away that knowledge and be able to start building on this technology. For the future as well, for PBA 6, as with the previous editions, we do plan to provide students with tuition and learning materials, accommodation and half-board meals, which means that all the students have to worry about is learning. It is really a very exciting program to join. There is a real sense of camaraderie and friendship. I think that students arrive and they leave the program having made lifelong friends. It's
and business partners.
And business partners, yes,
Very
absolutely.
important.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is just such an incredible opportunity. I think in this world where we don't often get to work together with people in person, everything's done via computer screens, to actually be together with people. I think that there's a very special atmosphere around the academy of people, you know. The students are there and they are there to learn, and they are there to support each other, to help out. It really creates a community of students. And one of the things that the students will also be able to do once they complete the academy successfully is to join the alumni program, which is a really important part of the kind of journey, because that is a community of amazing developers. So every cohort joins the greater alumni community, and you know, you are connected to a network of top developers who have all been through the same experience as you. But we also you know, we try and do a lot for the alumni. We're looking at a program of continuous learning. So when things such as Jam come out, we you know, our alumni are the first to hear about it. We're able to you know, to bring these new technological developments to the alumni. So you know, our teachers, our lecturers, it's not just the curriculum that changes for new students. We're also able to you know, it's a resource that's also available to the alumni too. So if you would like to learn more about the program, we will be releasing information soon. We are planning to launch PBA-X, or rather, we are planning for PBA-X to take place at the beginning of 2025, and PBA-6 will take place in a little bit later, in plans to take place in March. And we will be updating our people on our mailing list very soon in the autumn when sign-ups open and applications open. So if you would like to hear more, please do sign up to our mailing list, Polkadot.academy, and you'll be able to be the first to know when we do start gathering applications and sign-ups for these 2 new exciting programs. So if there are any questions, I think that it's just the 2 of us here, but yes, if there are any questions, feel free to let us know.
Yeah, okay. Thank you guys. Thank you very much for your sharing, and it's very exciting. So I hope we can collaborate together again in the future. So if there are no more questions, then today's sharing is over, it's finished.